Hey guys, it's the Mad-Dok here, bringing you another hobby project. It's been a while since my last one, but I've finally got something that I think might be worth documenting. And that, as you can see, is a fairly sizable 3D print of the Forge World Warhound Titan, the Lucius pattern specifically. So yeah, it took about a week of solid printing to get all these bits and pieces done, and the first step is going to be examining all the pieces, make sure everything turned out well, and just cleaning everything up. So the issue that you get with 3D printing is you get these layer lines where it gets laid down, and you can adjust the settings to your printer, and you can have it turn out more or less detailed. But what I like to do with these prints is I like to tidy them up using a hobby file, and in some of the more extreme cases I have the Bondo Automotive Putty. I prefer using that over liquid green stuff because the putty doesn't actually shrink, and so you can just spread that over into the little gaps, and then once it's dry you can just sand that down with a variety of sandpaper, and it turns out pretty well. So yeah, what I'm probably going to start off with is working on the main body sections first, cleaning that up, tidying that up. It's fairly, like, this is a whole solid piece of plastic, so it's got a good weight to it. Got some good details on there. The file in question is from Thingiverse, and I'll put a link there if anyone wants to have a look at that. And the main body I just increased by 10%, and the head by 10% to fit the actual profile better. This is also a slightly different body section because the one in the initial file is a solid piece, which takes a long time to print. I think it's something like 24-25 hours to print, and uses a lot more of your PLA. So I found this one that someone else had done up, and it's actually hollow on the inside, so you're not wasting a whole lot of time and materials on that. But some of the things you need to clean up also is, you can see on the inside of this ball joint here, you have these supports, and that's so that nothing collapses when you're trying to do the areas on top. And they all just need to be taken out and sanded up and tidied up. So I've done a little bit of a test fit just to see how things line up, and so far so good. There's a little bit of warping in the groin piece here. You can see that doesn't line up. You got the warping here and here, and that's from where it was lying flat on the print bed, and it wasn't adhering properly, and that's just kind of come unstuck. So rather than trying to like reprint it, which is still another 12-hour job, I'm probably going to use some filler, or maybe some Milliput or something like that, and just fill that in and smooth that off. And it's a fairly featureless piece, so that shouldn't be too much of an issue to do that. My plan is also to pin or magnetize some of the weapon options. I don't have everything set up here, but we have a Vulcan Mega Bolter, and that just has a double ball joint which goes in there. So if I magnetize that, that'll fit in there and then into the socket, and that goes like that. You should be able to get some play there, but I'll experiment around with that and see how that goes. So I'm expecting it to be of reasonable weight. It's solid plastic, and yeah, they're sturdy. Like, there's not there's no give, there's no flex in any of these bits. So it's going to be Maybe a little tougher to work with than your basic resin from the original model, but I think the upside is that you'll end up with something that's going to be a lot more sturdy. But anyhow, I'm going to get on with tidying up some of these pieces and doing some test fitting, and then I'll be back to show you how some of those bits have turned out. So if you're interested in joining me in this particular project, then feel free to follow along, and hopefully we'll end up with a nice finished product that will look good on the tabletop. Cheers. Okay, so here's a follow-up to video 1. I've been working on the main back section of the Warhound Titan. This is the part that goes on top, very solid. What I've got here on the left hand side is the base plastic area, which has been covered in the Bondo and has been sanded down just to smooth it out. And on the right hand side is the same thing, except I have painted over it with just a basic grey, just to highlight the texture that's on there. Now with the 3D print, it doesn't totally get rid of every single little speck and line from the initial print, but I'm okay with that because I want it to keep a little bit of texture to it, just to not seem too overly bland and look a little bit more machined and crafted than something that's going to look smooth and too plasticky. So if we go to the back section here, this is the main torso, and the headpiece fits in there. You can see that you've got the lines there, and that was the same thing on this, but you can see that with the Bondo and the paint and sandpapering, it cleans up not too badly, and I think it will help in scale to have a few bits of texture in there. So that's how we're going with that. The next part, once I finish that, we'll be working on the headpiece or the cockpit, where the princeps and the crew sit. There's quite a bit of support structure that needs to be pulled out along here, and that's sort of covering the window pieces, and along here just under the ball joint. So we just need to clean away some of these bits and in here. But once I've got that prepped up, I might get this sanded up and smoothed out, and actually maybe get it totally painted up, just to show off what the actual result is going to be before I continue on with the rear part of the body. I haven't really figured out what I'm doing in terms of a colour scheme yet, so I think I need to put some thought into that, because I'm not too familiar with the backgrounds of the different Titan legions. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Try and think of something a little bit different, if we have it as something that acts in support of my Ultramarines or something like that. But anyway, that's where we're at the moment. So the next couple of weeks are just going to be cleaning this up, making it look presentable, and just testing it out to see how well the paint scheme is going to work on it. And yeah, it's just going to be a case of letting things dry and taking the time to get that done right. I may even need to do a couple of different coats just to get it all smoothed out. But anyway, there we go. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will keep you up to date with how things are going. Cheers.